thanks for making this evening. So as you all know, I am Sriram. I'm part of your family here. Our academy plays up. I'm happy to hear. Please give us a warm welcome to Mr. Venu, who's the USA chairman of the board. We have Abhishek. Can you please come here? And Shah.
Good afternoon. This guy, I was at another, in a community meeting just before the COVID, when we first met community in New Jersey. It was early 2020, Nagesh was there. But as okay. So the past 4 years since then, the journey has turned USA Cricket into a more formidable organization and with a lot of activities coming up. But going back to the history, just to introduce myself a little better. So I joined the initial board 2018, and the journey has been ups and downs with a kind of a roller coaster. But slowly but surely the organization is has come a long way, and we have initiated several activities, events, programs in terms of development and also performance, high performance international. And New Jersey being one of the prominent hub, not just this year, but for several years, New Jersey has been big contributor to USA cricket in total, in terms of youth, the adult leagues, and the overall participation. Going back to the history of USA cricket, the cricket has been, running with the support of volunteers and the people who are promoting the game just with passion. And now the passion cannot take the game all the way, to become a world force. But as an organization, we have a responsibility to, build on this and take it to the next level. So that is, that is the goal of the governing body. And but due to many reasons, last 4 years, there were issues and there were reasons beyond our control in terms of our capabilities, capacity, in terms of financial capacity, and the impact made by COVID, and impact made by several other internal reasons that are common for the growing organization. But finally, I think I don't know if you are closely following the USA cricket, we have made a lot of progress just in the last couple of years, and fortunately, a lot of opportunities coming our way, and with the help that we help and support we have in the community, and with the support coming from ICC and other organizations, I think we have a very bright future for our younger generation, and it's a right time for anybody to invest or involve in the game of cricket in the country. We can probably say that. So the success of this year's program mainly goes to the volunteers, like the New Jersey Hub, Nagesh and Sriram, and all the people who are involved in cricket, and been promoting and supporting sport in the country. First of all, I want to start with congratulating the New Jersey Hub for successfully delivering the many activities, including conducting under-19 trials and the training camps, to also running the age group programs. Thank you for your support, continued support, all of you. Today, basically, I want to spend my time just to give you some overall, overview of what we have achieved so far and what are the opportunities coming our way, and also just to give you some information about what is coming next. So, what are our focus? What is our focus for the next couple of years? Right? So, this year, if you follow, we have going back to last year. We on the youth level, we started a one age group program all the way to national tournament at U15, and that was actually a pilot program for us to check the waters and make sure we will be able to deliver the age group programs with the support, with very minimum financial support from the organization. So with that success, now today we are proudly can say that we are able to deliver all the age group programs, starting from U11 to U23 at the local, hub level and zonal level. Mainly again thanks to all the volunteers and local support. And we have conducted 2 national tournaments, 15s and 19s, and 17s, 23s is going to happen next month. And so these programs will want to take it and create a similar pathway programs for the men's. Unfortunately, we could not do senior men's national tournaments last couple of years, which is missing from the calendar. But we are going to start some programs and deliver those pathways as well for next year. So currently, the board is very focused and closely working with our commercial partner and also ICC and our partners in for the next year T20 World Cup Cricket West Indies. So we want to use all the opportunities and build a system where it can progress. We never have to look back, okay, whether we can deliver something this year and plan just for add-on. But we want to make a solid pathways and a solid financial ability to raise funds for the organization, create a financial sources, and also develop programs for both men and women. Because women also very important, and it's going to be one of our strategic area focus for the next few years at least. So we can bring the women's cricket also at the same level to the men's level. We have opportunities. Even our women's team has a ODI status for the last couple of years, but we have not created much programs as much as we thought to provide competitive opportunities for them. And we have a goal of increasing the numbers at the women's level as well. So today I have a small presentation just to give you some idea about what we have set out targets as goals to achieve for the end of the year. So these goals, these tasks will drive us for the next 4 or 5 years. You all know that we are hosting the World Cup next year, and very soon there is a very high possibility that cricket is going to be included in the early Olympics, 2028 Olympics. So from starting next year to 2028, we want to set our strategy and focus on those areas, and by 5 years we should become a solid force in the world cricket, and also have the ability to apply to become a full member. So with these 2 major events coming our way gives us a solid chance, and a lot of financial support, resource support from ICC as well. So we want to leverage that. We want to do that. We want to plan out. We want to fix some of the things that we are currently working and not able to finish, and also create programs towards the goal. So basically, in terms of strategic planning and development, between starting 2024 to 2028 in the Olympics, we want to create a 5-year strategy focusing on the key areas in terms of development, grassroots development, and domestic pathways, infrastructure development, and women's program, some of them. So we do have a strategy currently we just need to, we don't need to reinvent, but we can want to use it and create, add anything in addition to where we can focus anything in addition to the current strategy, and especially we want to give some focus to the infrastructure development and also increase programs for the women and some of them. And so we want to achieve that by end of the year. We want to finalize our strategy by end of the year. And the creating a budget, calendar and budget. So calendar has been one of the issue for all of us, where we could not release the calendar in time or early as early as good, impacting all other cricketing activities in the country. But starting this year, we want to set a goal to release our calendar by 5th November in the AG. And also the budget. So unless we prepare our budget, we cannot even plan for the events for the year ahead. So we want to create our budget as well and finalize, at least have a draft budget finalized by the AG. And the constitution has been, another area of issue where it's actually the reason behind some of the conflicts, some of the whatever the issues, and some limitations around for us to deliver some of the programs. So currently we have appointed a constitution review working group. They are actively working, and we want to have a draft constitution, amended constitution, presented to the membership during the AG. So the constitution requires members' approval for some of the sections. So that's why we want to provide our recommendations to the members during the AGM, and then we'll request a members' feedback, and then the goal is to have a updated, amended constitution by January 1st. And the membership and scoring board, this is another area of issue. So the organization is driven by the members are the stakeholders of the organization. But currently we have a loosely coupled portal where it's not encouraging the members of the community to become members and support the organization. So that's another area of focus for us. We want to have a application portal that can provide the ability, the complete functionality for us to have the engage the community and the members' needs and activities, and also integrate that with the scoring system. So it will become easy for our selectors, hubs, and zones to assess and track the players and their stats at one place. So these are the 4 focus areas in terms of strategic planning and development. The partnership building. You all know USA Cricket signed a commercial contract with our partner is American Enterprise. But since being several things are still yet to be resolved and finalized, part of that arrangement. And the focus is on resolving most of the key pending issues by end of the year. And currently, we are closely working with our partner, and we are hopeful that we should be able to set the partnership in a way that both organizations can sustain and focus on their own areas of focus. So we want our partner to be successful, and at the same time they want USA Cricket to be successful. But those whatever the issues currently pending, we want to resolve those by end of the year. At the same time, we have opportunities to partner with our rivals. So we have the full member Cricket West Indies. We already partnered with them to co-host the World Cup, and they actually offered, and they are very interested to partner with USA Cricket to grow cricket in the country, at the same time to leverage their resources, their facilities in order to provide better opportunities for our players. And for them also, it's a great opportunity to involve in USA Cricket and utilize the USA market. So we are currently working on a partnership contract with the Cricket West Indies, and same time Cricket Canada is another opportunity. Cricket Canada also achieved the ODI strategy recently. That gives another opportunity for us to, have, international cricket within, our region, without having to spend a lot of money or, sending our teams away longer distance. So we are in touch with Cricket Canada, and hopefully, they are currently participating in the global. America has qualified for the T20 World Cup. We wish them 2024 World Cup, and so we can in preparation for the World Cup. So program implementation development. So under this, high performance programs for the national team. So far we are able to deliver only as needed whenever the team is traveling, like qualifier or PWC, World Cup event. But we want to create high performance programs leading to the World Cups, and also have continuous high performance programs for both under 19 and senior setup for men and women level. That way we can constantly compete and perform in the World Cup. So that currently the cricket committee is creating those plans. That is our goal to what goal to have these programs outlined and finalized by end of the year. In fact, for the under 19s, we want to finalize something by next year, so they can be engaged and prepare for the January World Cup, World Cup. Cricket Heroes program is basically this is a grassroots development program, entry level introductory program that we want to implement in elementary schools. So we had a partner who designed the program for us, and we have run a couple of pilots across the country. We want to focus on running a few more pilots within the World Cup venues, the 3 World Cup venues, New York, Fort Lauderdale. So we want to complete the pilots for this year and prepare the programs to be fully implemented starting next year. That's one of our focus. And completion of the national tournaments. So like as I mentioned, we are at we are almost about to complete all of our age group programs next month, in couple of weeks. Then one under 19 girls national tournament pending, and that's going to be in November. That is as far as junior youth programs. And as far as women's, we completed the national tournament, and they have successfully competed and qualified for the World Cup global qualifier. But at the men's level, we wanted to do the national tournament, but keeping the World Cup coming up in next summer, that's in view. We want to actually, and with the success of under 19 program that we adopted last year, where we actually identified the training groups and trained them throughout the winter for a few months, and then conducted the zonal trials in the national tournament. We felt that actually created, we have a national team, solid national team, but apart from that, we also have a solid, pool of players developed across the country. So right now, even if you want to look for other talent replacement, there is enough, easily there are 80, 90 under 19 players developed through the program. So we want to do conduct a similar program for men. So very soon we will announce trials for men, where we want to identify the training groups and assign coaches and facilities so they can train with the coach throughout the winter. And then early March we want to do the national tournament for selecting the national training group in preparation for the 2024 World Cup. That's coming up for the men's. And the hubs and zones. The success of junior cricket is mainly possible because of the hubs and zones that we created. Currently we have 18 hubs across the country. We want to see if we can add more wherever possible, and also stabilize these hubs and zones by providing more support from the organization. And we want to empower them in a way that hubs can self-sustain and create their own funding sources as much as possible. And at the zonal level, we want to start funding the zones and all the national tournaments. We want to allocate sufficient budget, and so hubs and zonal programs will These are the few tasks that we have undertaken, and we are focused on completing these tasks and be ready for next year in terms of program preparation of the programs, development programs, and high performance programs. And also, we have starting next year, ICC funding cycle also changes every 4 years. The new cycle starting from next year, and the good news is our funding is going to increase a lot. So that is actually giving us confidence to put more focus on allocate more budget to the development programs. So and we have other opportunities to increase our funding. But regardless of that, with the base funding we going to receive from ICC, we are confident that we can run these programs through the next development cycle and achieving our 2028 target. So our vision, we have set our vision in 2020 that by 2030 we want to make cricket as one of the sport compared to other sport, one of the leading sport, and become the global force by becoming a full member of ICC. We are very optimistic and we want to set the targets in a way that can be achievable, so can motivate and push us forward. I'm very confident, and another focus for us, I did not put it on the presentation, but we want so far cricket is being run mainly by the volunteers across the country. We have very limited resources, staffing resources, but we want to focus on that as well. We want to appoint more staff so the programs can be managed very easily without having to burn out our volunteer community. So that's a goal for the organization, and the current board is very focused and delivering and achieving these programs. And once again, I thank all the volunteers and supporters, and also thank all of you for being patient. I know you've been hearing, you may be hearing a lot of complaints or issues. You may not be satisfied with all, but the current programs that are currently available for yourself or for your kids. But we are confident, we can promise that we can only get better. We will deliver more programs and programs in the next few years. Now I would like to hear from you as well. I know we are planning several things, but the reason for me coming visiting the house is to hear from you as well. I know there is a disconnect. We feel that there is a disconnect between the organization and the community. So it's better, we want to hear from you as well. I know we send media releases out, we send out communication as much as possible, but we also want to hear directly from you for any feedback, right? That can better our functioning of the organization. Thank you, and I'm open for any questions or any feedback that you want.
Thank you very much, Venu, for thoroughly laying out the plans and some of the issues. So we have collectively reached out to our hub. As you said, there's quite a lot of teams and people here. We have collaborated some questions. We have some questions from audience as well. We'll go through them. So I think let's start with youth cricket, pathway to youth cricket. Some of the questions that came with us, please have a seat. So, some of the questions that came along the way is about when it comes down to zonals. So we have the under the 15 and under 17 zonals, or 13 zonals, and so on. Why limiting to only 2 or 3 games? Is there any plans to have an ongoing on-the-run zonal teams that continuously compete throughout the year? So instead of just 2-3 games, that can the zonal games can happen throughout the year, like Ranji Trophy or the Trophy that's happening in India. And then while we can have once a year towards the end, going all the way going down to the national championship. Is there any plans regarding those games?
Of course, we all want our kids to play as many games as possible. One reason I would say why the number of games were very limited this year, the reason being the hub hubs were implemented very, kind of late in the game. We didn't have a plan from the beginning of the year. So it took time for other hubs to assemble and create their plans and activities. And so that's one of the reasons where we set a minimum of 6 games within a hub, and then 3 to 4 games at the zonal level. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is being, not all the hubs can start as early as possible. Some, because of the geographical location and weather permitting. So some of the hubs can only, start, even for MidAtlantic, they can only start maybe early May, something like that. So that could be one of the reasons. But there is apart from the desire to play more games, there is also at the zonal level. There is also we receive a lot of feedback that even the national tournament should have more than 2 games. Right? They've been they're training hard and coming to the national tournament. It's very hard even for the selectors to pick the team just by looking at the player who plays 2-3 games. Right? We want to expand that. As I mentioned, plans for the next year will include more number of games at a local and a national level. And we want to, there is also demand that we need to increase the number of zones as well to evenly balance the talent across the country and to provide opportunities across the country. So that also under consideration. So hopefully we will come up with a plan where we'll have more number of teams participating at nationals, or we'll have more number of regions or zones. And as far as the number of games at the hubs, so now that the system is already established, we are going to give a direction to the hubs by late end of November. Provide the plan early and start the programs as early as possible.
As well, you had a question regarding the zones when you talked about concentration of talent pool. So you want to ask that question?
Sure. Thank you. There's a movie called Karthik calling Karthik. There's Venu calling Venu. So, Venu, thanks first of all. You're the first USA cricket chair to visit our region. So big round of applause. This is my 30th year with cricket. Nobody's ever come here. So my question, actually, these are more of suggestions than questions. And you can respond, of course. But these are valid suggestions. One is undue concentration, right? So we do have a lot of concentration of talent in our zone, the Mid-Atlantic zone. The consequence of that is ultimately it comes down to the North Hub and the hub representing Virginia, Maryland, and there are a lot of perceptions. They may or may not be real, but if you set the tone at the top, this can be addressed. One is that, well, there's too much talent. Should we divide this zone into 2 zones? I don't know if it's feasible or not, but something for you to consider. Second is, within the zone, when it comes down to selection, it seems, or there's perceptions that there is some either an invisible quota system, right, trying to achieve some balance between the North and the South, which then means that the best 14 don't, represent the region. So we need to do away with that, maybe debunk the myth or battle the perception. We got to figure this out. The third is, as a consequence of too much talent, there are too many advocates for talent also, guilty as charged. That what happens is the more active voices they have, they get in the ears of this process. This process, therefore, ends up being a little swayed, if you will, this is all perception, and I'm speaking for parents. I know there are selectors here, and you will disagree. I agree. There's perceptions that some people are having a little more advantage in this process, and we need to do away with that. And how do we do that? Let's battle that perception as well. And then sticking to a program. Okay, so once you say that we're going to be statistics driven, that's great. We'll be objective. and only the statistics from the pathway will count. There are problems with that. First of them is there are only 4 games. Second of them is there's 14 or 15 players who go to these and then one gets benched or rotated out or has a bad day, and these are like, these are obvious issues resulting from that issue. Second is, we are finding out that statistics don't really matter when it comes down to selection. So on one hand you're saying statistics matter, on the other hand they may not matter. And the best example of that is the best bowler and MVP of the U17 tournament was not selected. The best keeper of the U17 tournament was not selected. There might have been other considerations. And we are not saying they should only be statistic driven, because we are also agreeing that 4 games is a small sample. But I think we need to study how better to improve this. And I'm sure selectors will agree with this as well, that we don't have we have a process finally, guys. Another round of applause for all the guys who make this happen. Until this year, there was no process. And I know we will never have a perfect process, but I think we need to improve from here, and I'm sure everyone will agree with this, that we need to improve from here. What are the improvements that are needed? And these are all in support of that, I guess. Adherence, we already covered. More games, advanced planning, you already covered. Thanks for that. And this is actually, this is for the audience, not for you particularly, because you don't control the parents and their influence on the process, but parents do want to influence the process. So I feel you can't ask the audience, you cannot ask for an unbiased process and then try to bias the process. So it is also on us to actually keep us all straight and narrow. And we are our own checks and balances, but when some of us deviate from that, then we create this problem ourselves. So I'll pause there and let's hear your thoughts on these.
Yeah, I agree with you on the perceptions. So that is something we'll continue. It's hard to change the perceptions. We can change the process, so perceptions can change. So coming to one of your questions of considering only the stats from the pathways. So again, it goes back to the basic principle that we explained to the hubs at the beginning, that this is the first year we are setting a new process. So until now, any cricket, local cricket or national cricket, being only overseen by the organization at the top level. And I'm one of them, realize it's impossible for the organization to run cricket everywhere. So we want to decentralize, but at one step at a time. So the first step for this year, the success we want to achieve is establishing the hubs and hubs owning the local cricket to some extent. I think you all agree that the hubs were very successful in the process. That is the reason we don't want to deviate them. Looking at other places, considering performance of performance. It doesn't mean that other performances are not valid or not as great as the performance from the pathways, but we want to set the focus in establishing the hubs and keeping the process very simple for the first year at the junior level. Again, we are talking about 11s, 13s, 15s, and 17s, right? So when it comes to national pathways, the selections always are subjective. I may have my own perception, parent may have their own perception, and the selectors will have their own perception. So it's always up for debate. But what we kept us again the principle to the junior cricket very simple. Consider the stats. So for the selections into the zonals, and we gave the ownership to the hubs. So we told them, you appoint your selectors, that you are taking the pain of running cricket, raising funds. So you own it, and you make sure you appoint your own selectors who are knowledgeable and they can deliver the way you want. I think the process worked well overall, but always there are going to be issues always, and I think the issues becomes bigger when it comes to the national team selections, zonal selections for the national team partners. We try to stay away from those selections always, and it's always, again, I said, it's not process that anybody can define in terms of selection. Because selectors high, always different. That's why we have selectors who are experienced, who are in that process, who've been involved in the process for many years. We're not putting a parent, we're not putting an administrator or a director into the selectors. So that's why my principle always understand the pains and understand the disappointments, but we make sure we create a system. It can be unbiased and fair and neutral. So that is the improvement we can make. And we got some feedback. It's not that the selections are very bad across the country, but here and there are areas to improve. But we will definitely look into the constraints. I hope I addressed all your suggestions.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll probably have follow-ups later.
So yeah, that brings that interesting question.
Just to add to that, in terms of considering other performances, so part of the sanctioning policy that we are currently reviewing, we have a sanctioning policy where we sanction tournaments and we ask them to follow our guidelines. But that process is broken currently. I want to be very honest. Even the process is not being followed, even at the minor league level, the process is not set. The owners, the organizers are assuming their own methods, rules. I think we need to focus on setting that process where we can, set new proper guidelines where they can and enforce they follow those guidelines, so we can consider performance from any other sanctioned tournaments. So that will help.
I do have a follow-up on that, so when I'll come back to that.
The follow-up for me on that one is what is your advice for the parents and this hub regarding what they should be focusing on for 2024 in terms of there are a lot of major tournaments throughout going on, and yes, there needs to be a balance in terms of when it comes down to a selection, it should be more subjective, not sticking to just the stats alone. But the question is that a lot of these tournaments also clash with USA cricket priorities, with other tournaments, everything running around the same time, because there's only 4 major long weekends, and everything has to be around the 4 major long weekends, and then the school holidays season. Where should be the focus? A lot of parents are confused about or more directionless in terms of where their priorities should be, or what they should be looking out for in terms of when it comes down to the pathway for USA cricket. At least what I understand, as you mentioned, the system needs to be fixed in terms of sanctioning the viewpoint of other tournaments. But it's going to take some time as it evolves. But in the near term, for 2024, as we are about embarking on that one right now, so what would be your suggestion for us to stay on course?
So I know this issue has been around, conflicting of tournaments and too much cricket coming every kid and parent want to have their kids play as many tournaments or events as possible. This can be addressed by releasing the calendar upfront. That way, other events can plan around USA cricket programs, and parents can plan, set their priority which tournaments their kid want to participate. So we have, like I mentioned in the presentation, we want to release the calendar by 2024 for the 2024 by mid-November. So that way, that gives we hope that gives enough time for everybody else to.
What's the date?
Mid-November during the AG. And also in terms of long weekends and school holidays coming, we want to focus keeping most of the pathway programs, to summer holidays as much as possible, but not to extend beyond August. So there may be 1 or 2 national tournaments, depending on how the national tournament format will be. We definitely want to come out of this traditional 16 national tournament for sure. Depending on the new format, the national tournament itself may be extended for 1 or 2 age groups beyond August, but the focus is to complete even the junior level national tournaments by end of August or by the calendar will give the direction to everybody to plan around. And in terms of suggestion, we always request encourage the kids to the play their local cricket as much as possible, because we hear a lot of feedback that it's costing a lot of money to take the kids around the country. Traditionally, there were many tournaments that take the kids across the country and even through for international events. We want to avoid that spending on a lot of money on travel, because we feel that the kid at the development stage, they should play at the local level more, so to avoid all the spending on unnecessary travel costs. And so that's why we want to bring more hub level games, and then as they progress, as they perform better, always they want to move up the ladder and play at the national level. But by providing the as many games at the hub and zone level, so they can minimize the cost hubs.
Question that came is regarding the women's cricket and for girls cricket. Right now, for girls is a different pathway for regionals, and then it going instead of like following the zonals and national pathway. Can it be like more defined, and the information regarding those selections and the wide availability? So some people have asked about like how it can be like more prevalent, like how it can be more transparent, similar to like regular junior pathway cricket.
Yes. Currently women's program follows a different regional, inter-regional and regional and national tournaments, because of the reason there's not much volume. In terms of the number of players that participate in junior programs by the girls level, there are very few. We want to grow those numbers, and while the numbers are very low, so the programs were arranged in a different manner compared to the boys and women. But we want to bring girls cricket into hubs. That's an idea that we are exploring right now. So hopefully hubs can adopt girls cricket as well. Currently, we allow girls to play in the hub pathways along with the boys at a lower one age group level. But we want to conduct parallel girls only cricket programs at the hub level wherever possible. So possibly we might merge girls into the hubs. That way, both can be synced and both are following the same structure across the country. So did I miss any other?
One other follow-up question is is there going to be a commercial prospect and career options with cricket as a sport here in the US? I know that with all of this going on, a lot of minor league options and all those are potentially good options that are providing starting to come up. Within the USA cricket, how is there going to be a commercial aspect in terms of as I pointed out before, Ranji Trophy concert or like a zonal level concert, continuous national games going on that leading up to the national one. Is there anything like that in the vision to talk about?
Yeah. So that's the vision that we have for 2030, when we become a full member, when we constantly perform and play at the world stage. That brings more commercial revenue to us. And currently, it may be bits and pieces, and maybe very few players are able to get USA contracts only when they get selected to the national teams, and there are very few players got contracts recently in the MLC. But in few years, we are very confident that for any kid who is at junior level, 13, 14, 15s, by the time they graduate from the schools and colleges, then definitely we can confidently say that there will be a career path to creating.
So along those lines, you mentioned schools and colleges. What are the efforts being taken currently to associate with colleges or bring this program forward? There's already a national college cricket association. Games are happening with some of the prominent colleges participating in those, but they're all in a separate entity and format. But within the USA cricket, is there any plans to reach out to college level as much as at the school level? is the effort from USA Cricket to reach out to college level. So there is a good prospect for the kids to pursue the sport at the junior level.
Yeah, at this time, we did not create any plans, but we have ambitions to take the sport to the college level. And we want to keep that focus probably after the World Cup next year. And create a group of experts who can create a plan to take the sport into the colleges. So that also, once we hear the direction from the US Olympic Committee to whether they can, the cricket can be included in the Olympics, there is a very much it's highly possible. Once that announcement comes out, and that gives better chances for us to explore more opportunities, and it makes it easy to speak to the colleges, include cricket into their programs. So idea is to start at a small scale, small level, and identify few colleges who are very keen or who are already running some level of club cricket in India. So we want to target them, work with them, and create a program, and then expand that over the next 3-4 years.
It's my last question, and then I'm going to yield it to Venu and then others in the group. It's like one of the things that we constantly talk about is the zonal selection process and how to identify these best sporting players and so on. Is there any plans of creating zonal excellence centers like NCA? So here, that can basically centralize the talent pool in each zone that is representing the zonal team, and have a common coaching and everything provided under the guidance of USA Cricket with the support of the local hubs and zones.
So we want to establish our national training centers. So part of our agreement with our commercial partner, that is one of the focus. In all other areas of priorities. Until we have permanent facilities, we want to we have supported we have partnered with facility partners across the zones, and we want to work with them in making our players train through the zonal and training groups. We did that for under-19s, and we want to do it at a larger scale for the men's this year. So we have facilities, and we have facility partners who are interested to support USA Cricket initiatives, and we want to leverage them. And also we'll see how our funding comes out by after the World Cup. So by co-hosting the World Cup, we do get some revenue from the World Cup profits. So we don't know exactly, but all of that, the funds that we receive part of the co-hosting, ICC will spend all of that money in cricket development in the US. So there is an agreement between the ICC and the member organizations that all the surplus from the World Cup account will be utilized on the cricket development. So that may be one of the opportunity for us to utilize, post World Cup, spend that money on infrastructure development, maybe create some national training centers. If not many, but at least one in a conference region.
Let's take a quick 10-minute break for getting some refreshments there, and then we'll come back and resume questions. Open the audience, open the floor to audience to ask questions.
थोड़ा ये वैसे
I was at under 19. I started one of where I was. But it's not
That's just the eyes. You know, you see ability to possess this game as a skill set thing. A lot of things many times we deny it.
Can I get everybody back to the seat, please? Hello? Can you please all come back? Hey guys, really appreciate if you guys can come back. We are starting with the rest of the session. Can I request everybody to come back,
I'm also
please?
from Bits.
Oh, really?
You and I are actually
Alright.
connected on
Please.
LinkedIn on Bits.
What's your last name?
Mitesh,
Gopalakrishna.
Mitesh, guys,
I'll chat with you.
Definitely.
thanks. Thank you for getting back. Guys, can I please get your attention? Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Venu, one question that came up recently is that, with MLC shifting to under 12 and under 14, is the next year plan, are we changing the age group, or are we planning to keep the same age group? Is there anything that can be announced at this point? No change, okay. We'll now open the floor for questions. Venu is going to ask a few questions, and then you guys can raise your hands, and we will bring you up.
Thank you. Okay, so without mic,
Venu's got a natural.
all right, guys, can I? Yeah, if I have your attention. The next question I had, again, borderline controversial, is from the hub level to the national level. There's this tendency to helicopter down coaches. All right, people who are coaches of those teams are not familiar with the teams. They're not given enough time to familiarize themselves with the team. A lot of times, they don't even know the players. And I believe strongly, and this is, of course, these questions all, by the way, they were sent to me by parents, that the coach should be, first of all, should have an opportunity to know the players. Second, that at each hub level, there should be a designated statistician whose job it ought to be, this could be volunteers, whose job it ought to be to provide a completely fleshed out profile to the coach and potentially even the selectors. So this is something that needs to happen because right now we are seeing that at the game sometimes the coach doesn't even know if this guy is an all-rounder or just a specialist. This is happening at the game level. So something for you, again as a suggestion. Yeah, why don't you respond?
Yeah, so I don't know, but at the hub level, we did ask the hubs to appoint their own coaches and selectors. So for any hub representing at the zonal level, the coach is being appointed by the hub. At least for this year. I don't want to talk about the previous years, but maybe, because at that time cricket is being operated from the top level. But now since we started decentralizing, we gave the ownership to hubs. And even for the zonal coaches, zonal teams, which are represented at the national level, we did ask zones to provide their recommendations. So unless there is a serious concern or some policy related, we did not change their recommendation. We approved their recommendations. If there is any concern, we asked them to provide alternates. But we did not appoint a coach, from the top for this.
But so not as a follow-up, but as an add-on, there is an impression here that the coach or the selectors have to be unaffiliated with the academies. Unfortunately or fortunately, this is just how cricket has evolved in this region. The academies are the ones that are developing talent. So if you leave the coaches that are affiliated with the academies out of the picture, then you end up with this situation where the coach who comes in has no experience with the players. And I think there has to be, obviously we are all big advocates for impartiality and unbiased selection. But maybe there is a recusal method that we need to deploy instead of just ruling out experienced coaches like Coach Daly or Coach Ashok Patel. There are other coaches, out here, very experienced coaches. But the very fact that they cannot therefore be involved is a huge problem, right? Even at the selection level, if you ask Coach Daly, he will have a pretty solid view, regardless of the academy, on who the good players are and what they do and so on. So because they go to every game, and that's a fact. I won't belabor that point, but that's one thing.
See, they go to every game and they look at all the 40 overs, the entire game, week after week after week.
Yeah.
So the coaches probably know the players a lot better than probably anybody out there. And these players have been playing for 6, 7, 8 years, and they've been building their stats. And if there is a kid, a player, who's got 35 to 40 average over 200 games, for some odd reason doesn't get a chance to play in the selection games, which is like 3 or 4 games, the kid is totally out of luck. I think these coaches, at least the experienced coaches, should be part of the selection process one way or the other. And if you think a coach is going to be biased, get one coach from every single academy. There's going to be a lot of democratic process there.
He can recuse himself from selection of his own, or voicing opinion about our academy's game. That is potentially a way forward. But just leaving him out of the process is not certain.
Yeah, so again it goes back to my previous answer where hubs can explore those options. I think they are not coaches, at least at the hub level, I think they...
Let me check.
Yeah.
I think maybe we missed that process. Basically, this is the process only for the maybe did not actively participate in the hub because the way the structure we said, if you are in the junior steering committee, like a little bit can maintain the distance from the hub. That's why I did not. But I mentioned to our hub leads here. So basically, the hub for the junior pathway until 17, the coaches and the selectors for each age group need to be nominated by the hub body. That should have been done even way ahead of time, like in the month of May. We started the league in April. Whatever the reason it is a misunderstanding, even I can take part of that blame, but we did not do that good job in the NJ hub. Okay? So ideally going forward, the NJ hub, whoever is that administrative body, they have to select the selectors, 5-member selection panel, 2-3-member selection oversee panel as per the guidelines, and then 1 or 2 from that hub selection panel should go to the zonal level too. So the process is hub nominates it, send it to the zonal committee. If the zonal committee is there, then the zonal committee send it to the junior steering committee. Usually nobody will like to say no until unless there is a real any controversy. That is the process. That is the process we need to follow. But this is only for until 17. But the cricket committee, I am not sure.
The national pathways, there was a little deviation. So that is, the conflict of interest. It's been, very popular term. Even it applies to even for the administrators, anybody involved in cricket at the organization level. So we want to give more clarity to that. So we requested the Constitution Review Working Group to, provide clarity around the conflict. Which conflict can be managed, which should be avoided. So maybe we'll get some direction on that because it's impossible to separate the coaches with academies. So no coaches sitting around doing nothing but want to come and volunteer. It's hard to find those coaches. It's impossible to, unless organization, we hire our own coaches. I don't think that will take some time, a lot of time when we reach the point where we can afford to hire our own coaches. But until then, we have to find a formula where we leverage the talent, experience out there. At the same time, find a way to avoid conflicts. So I think that clarity will come out. So, but at the same time, it happened during the under-19s. There was some pushback from the cricket committee that since these are very important selections and national teams, they wanted to avoid any affiliation with the countries. But after that, I think recently we did not enforce that. We'll have a better clarity about that.
My last one is on sanctioning. You touched on it. So first of all, disclaimer, I own a minor league team, right? So maybe there's some self-interest in this too. The point though is that our team, some of them, not all, but they go to the MLC Junior tournament as well. But there are so many other tournaments that they could go as well. I mean, we have 4 teams in each age group. Not everybody goes to MLC. The way to kind of have some sanctity around these tournaments ought to be to have, first of all, if this tournament stats could also be part of the overall consideration when determining talent, right? That would be a good thing. Because people want to compete in order to progress in it. So that would be good. But how do you do that? I think if you sanction a tournament and you collect money, and then you collect whatever the sanctioning fee, but you use the fee to send an observer, and the observer's job is to make sure that they can then kind of guide or inform the selectors on, well, if you're considering this stats, BPL stats, this is a top-notch tournament. Okay, it's a good tournament, well run, good talent here. At least they can inform them, but their presence there is paid for from the sanctioning fee. I think that would be a good way to do this because we frequently, especially in the girls team, we find that the girls go to a tournament. It depends on like who's running the tournament. If I don't want to take names, but if the person who's running the tournament has a vested interest, then he decides how the tournament are to be played, who goes on what teams. All of this is decided by that person. But for us, it would help to know that it's a sanctioned tournament, that somebody looked at this method, and if it's a sanctioned tournament, somebody was there, so that if somebody got 200 runs, it's not because he's the organizer or she's the organizer, right? Like, this is important. So that's one thing, and the last thing from my side is, so we do have from our hub about 5 or 6 players that are going to either USA under 19, represent USA under 19 girls team or guys team. And especially the girls teams now, they're going to be in the World Cup qualifier, women's team now. There are 2 girls, maybe more from ours, from here. And I know you touched on it, but is there a plan for them in the run-up to that qualifier to prepare them adequately? Because if we just like turn on about a month ahead of the tournament, then they are going to be undercooked and underprepared.
Are you talking about under 19s or the
Now I'm talking, the question was about the women's team going to the World Cup qualifier, but it's equally true for under 19s.
Yes. Part of the high performance program development, the program, the plans were not just for the men's or the boys under 19, but it also includes the women's team, keeping the upcoming global qualifier in mind, because that is also early next year, late Feb or early March. So that's already decided. So one thing I did not mention, the organization we are running without an executive for the last more than a year now. But recently we appointed our next CEO, who is not in the country yet, but he may be here very soon. Just waiting for his visa to be stamped, and planning to come maybe end of October, early November. But he is already, taken up the task to create the high performance programs, create the roadmaps for the national, all the national teams. He is very experienced. He's been a CEO of Afghanistan, and he himself is a first-class cricketer. So he has a lot of knowledge around cricket operations as well. So that experience, we want to use that experience, and so with that being said, he is currently working on with the cricket committee creating this roadmap for all the national teams. And the under 19s, we don't know the pathway to the World Cup yet. Because last time we had a automatic entry to the under 19 Women's World Cup because of the the quality, the arrangement of the teams in the Americas region. That might change. There may be a qualifier, but we are not sure yet. It's not included into the plans. So, but most likely we may be automatically qualified again. Even if not, we want to be prepared to compete in the Americas qualifier. So, that is also, we are aware of that important tournament which is coming up next year.
So I have one subsequent question with respect to the statistics and team selection. So one of the complaints generally a lot of parents have is kids who get an opportunity in the middle order or late order, they don't get enough chance to build their statistics, right? So most of the zonal teams which you see, 13 or 15 or to an extent even 17, a lot of kids who play in the top order make it to the zonal team. Because if it's purely stats based, is there a way we can, at least for one season, tell this is the criteria where top order is going to be number 4, they are going to just pull all the top orders from each team, and we are going to pick a team, middle order 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. So whoever wants to ball, they bat there. So this at least gives a comparison of apples to apples. If not, what happens is kids who are down the order for whatever reason in their team, they hardly get a chance to build their statistics. And if we go just purely on stats, those kids are going to be in trouble.
Yep.
Right. So if we can...
I don't know if I can address that.
Good question.
Because it's very hard to provide those kind of guidelines.
That's a flip side to going with the stats, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we want to. We actually expect the hubs to take the ownership of that responsibility to make sure every kid is properly tested and looked at. Right? So that's why we want to establish these hubs. So the focus and the ownership stays with the hubs because they know better. They monitor the kids. They see the kids who are playing. They can find the resources. So that way, the kids get enough priority, better opportunities. So from an organization point of view, if you ask me that question, I don't know. It's maybe too much to provide those detail levels, into our guidelines. But we want to keep the guidelines to some extent where provide a number of games, this many number of games, and then it comes to hubs, depending on what type of player the kid is, a bowler, a batsman, an all-rounder. Depending on that, they want to test. Provide a chance accordingly. That's where again that comes to the coaches again. So you are hiring your own coaches. So the coaches knows better than anybody else. So we will let them to address that.
On the topic of coaches, do you have any plan in the works to upskill the coaches since you're doing all this development?
Yeah, so we have started a entry-level certification program for coaches. We've been running level 1 certification programs since last year. We have run quite a number of workshops. In fact, Jamie Ladd, our development manager, is running a workshop in Dallas this weekend. He ran a workshop in New York last weekend. So we have certified tutors, trained by the ICC, available in the country. There are 5 or 6 certified tutors, and they are actively running the workshops. I think we already, there are 200 plus level 1 coaches participated, trained and certified through these workshops since last year. But we want to expand this to level 2s, maybe next year, early next year. And through the partnership that we are planning to establish with the Cricket West Indies, we want to leverage their resources in terms of developing high-level coaches, level 2s and level 3s, and conduct those workshops, bring those workshops probably around the World Cup. So World Cup gives another opportunity, not necessarily watching a game, but also that brings a lot of highly qualified resources. And we are working with the ICC to create engagement program where they can we can conduct some the workshop for the coaches who are at the high level, but ICC can organize some of the workshops not just for the coaches, for umpires as well. So we want to create those engagement programs.
One of the questions that came across is there's been some, as you pointed out, the USA Cricket membership portal was kind of broken for a while and it's now open. And what is that, how are we connecting that with the USA Cricket side? So right now, USA Cricket is going on one side, membership portal is going on. Majority of the, I would say almost more than 60-70% of the player profiles in cricket clubs, they are not up to date. Parents, they just created a cricket club's ID, there is no profile for the player, it's not correctly specifying whether it's all round and so on. I think academies need to take ownership in terms of making sure the players are correctly profiled. But at the same time, we have had so many issues with cricket this year, during the season. The cricket going out, but during the game, but then server crashing. Not just one instance, multiple instances. So is there anything that is being addressed in terms of making that system more stable if you are relying on the stats and everything to that one? And also, how is that connected with the USA Cricket membership?
Yeah, currently we don't have an official scoring partner. Cricket has been a partner for several years, but it's a lot of leagues here currently. I would say more than 70% actually use Cricket. We try to engage our current membership portal to be our scoring system, but very soon we realize that's not purpose of our system and the leagues. So as part of our plans to establish a new portal, we want to establish a portal, the portal which can support stats management as well. I'm not saying clubs is going to be our scoring system, but we want to keep the portal in a way that any player, they can integrate whatever scoring system they use at their local level but it can integrate into the portal, yeah, right? That way, it could be quick launch, it could be quick hero, any other, home developed, a lot of leagues develop their own portal scoring system. But we want to provide an opportunity to integrate those, so it will become easier for selectors to access, even for players to.
One was the ranking system, the way that they're using is not like ideal to highlight some of the players. Like the player scoring 49 versus 50, that's going to, the player scoring 50 would get like 100 points versus player scoring 49 would get only 49 points. Yes, 50 is a milestone, but then like these things are talked upon. But like, unfortunately, as we talked about the stats multiple times, if you all go into the stats, that is going to skew some of the good players from like, coming becoming somebody who consistently scores like 40 versus like somebody who scores 110, 50. That's going to make a big difference. And the stats will not show it to
I'm not expert of how the point system is working, but we can definitely take that forward and see how it works.
And with respect to the USA Cricket membership and this one, so how is it going to be integrated with the player profile?
So the current USA ID is a unique ID for all the players, right? So we want that to be the unique key for any player. So we need any of the USA tournaments or the even we want to make a mandatory for any of the sanctioned tournaments to for ability to give the player the ability to use their profile, USA profile into their tournaments. That way all stays together.
I'm not sure if the right place but
Can I add to that membership?
membership.
Yeah,
Okay, right. Just one more question and then I'll open it because you and Navdeep have a question. Just one more question. I'm not sure if it's the right place to ask or give an answer, but these membership, USA Cricket membership comes with like voting rights for USA Cricket related issues. So are these players membership that people are going to adapt, does that mean that like everybody will get a ability to vote when it comes to USA Cricket matters, or like is that a separate related issue from player membership?
No, it's the same membership which makes them eligible to vote. There is a constitutional requirement that currently a member has to be valid for 1 year and vote in an election. And also there is a age limit. But both are
Yeah, Mr. Suggestion, from the membership, it is an annual membership, right? And it is an overhead both for USA Cricket and us that we need to keep renewing this every year, and it's not a very intuitive process. Is there consideration for a purpose of membership, so that A, it adds cash flow to USA Cricket, and B, and we are done and done, right? So a player like a 16-year-old is done for his life and he doesn't have to worry about it. So something to think.
Yeah, we define some scope around creating a permanent membership, not necessarily for the players, but we can definitely take feedback. It's good to have every year it's going to be a headache for both organization to manage renewals and members to.
And that whole validation and NOC and
So either, typically the membership can be set as auto renewal unless the member cancels. That can be one way to address, or like you mentioned, maybe we can think about it. See, let's go to the option.
One second. One statement on membership. One small suggestion. When the youngsters are registered, they were actually registered on the parents' name. So, for example, if I take my son, he has his own separate number and everything. But when he crosses the age, there's no process of moving him out of my from my account. So there's something which has to think that if they can not remove when they cross the age of 18. That's one issue what I constantly, even now, is 19 and still under my account.
Separation.
Because he's adult now.
Okay.
There's a minus to under the parents when they become major, they are able to have their own money. They're not able to move because they're still under the parents.
So,
So, now the other book we asked before, so we'll come up.
10 days.
6 was entire year, and then I think
10 is most of the districts.
yeah, 10 is I'm not for entire year.
Others 10.
More 10. So it could vary from school district to school district. And it's not that I'm right. I've tried to make the principals, the guidance counselor, the board of education members, the superintendent, the mayor office, even the congresswoman, and all. They have always pointed me back to the board of education, and their stipulated answer has always been, this is what our criteria is. So what is US cricket doing to help promote cricket? Because one thing that the boys and girls can't afford to do is to sort of campus. And this is being a therapy for most of us, especially for boys and girls who are now going to higher level cricket, and to go back to what you shared about the vision and setting up national training issues. That again needs more time away from school.
Yeah, I second that, and I have also follow-up addition to that. How can USA Cricket help connect with the Board of Educations or townships so that it can be promoted at that level?
Okay. Yes, definitely the coordination needs to happen to make cricket a recognized sport, a sport club for the skilled options. We'll definitely work on that. Thanks for the suggestion. But to address this concern, the one way we can address that is to avoid conducting more games during the school days. So for next year, the hub level, I think I don't think there will be an issue for the hub-related games where they are playing only the weekends or maybe during their school holidays. That flexibility they already have. The issue comes when it comes to the zonals or nationals. So again, there was some pushback when we want to conduct the national tournaments or zonal tournaments during the long weekends because there are traditionally other tournaments being planned for many years. So we need to strike balance. We need to slowly adapt to utilize the long weekends as much as possible for the national tournaments because it's not that when a national tournament is running, private tournaments should stop. Because national tournament hardly, currently 6 teams participating, maybe tomorrow maybe 12 teams. But other than that, other tournaments can still continue and survive. Not that they need to shake up during the long weekends. So probably we want to focus on keeping the national events, zonal events to mostly to long weekends and during the summer holidays. That will avoid another issue. And when it comes to national teams, I think the issue is only to under 19s, and that I think it may be easy to find the options excused for the national team. But the zonals and domestic national tournaments will try to keep it. Mostly find out some of the teams.
It hasn't worked for the national.
Currently it doesn't work for national team because they have to be involved. And we're going to face that issue soon. So like you mentioned, we'll definitely see how we can take it to the school boards. We already partnering with our, DHS, actually USMBC, they want to host the national team, they go to Sri Lanka. Probably we can take their help in getting this, helping the players to get exposed. Maybe they can do it.
So, just an, okay, it was an add-on to the same topic. So the concern is not just about the games, right? So the timing of the games, that's definitely helpful. I think the alignment with the school boards or the Board of Education would help towards throughout the overall, because there is a lot of effort that goes in the preparation for the kids in preparation of those games. So having that kind of an alignment with the Board of Education would help the kids prepare during the year when they also have to spend time in education.
Yeah, so we want to, that's a long-term goal as school to recognize and provide cricket opportunities at school level. Our Cricket Heroes program, which is elementary, which will give us opportunity to go to school systems and work with, basically that program is to train the PE teachers, not the kids necessarily. We do some level of introductory programs for kids, but primary focus is to train the PE teachers who will then implement those programs in elementary school. That may be an initiative which will provide an opportunity to get the proposals to school boards to adopt cricket as one of the recognized sport.
Who's that? Yeah. You have a question?
Yeah.
One second. We're waiting for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us the opportunity and meeting us in person. Just question was specific to the disparity which we saw against the hub. So, for example, the question already brought up where there are coaches from the academy who sync with the players right from the young ages, right? 10 years. In this instance, the hub decided to take a coach who had never seen the player, not even for a couple of months. And the player was profiled throughout his lifetime in New Jersey. He's been an all-rounder, okay? With centuries in MLC juniors, centuries and wickets in the hub, EYCL, ranking at top 3 all the time. Now, selection happened. He was leading the hub. He was leading the hub as a skipper for the Mid-Atlantic zone. He went there. The first game, the coach was not there. Okay? I mean, given the benefit of doubt with travel issues and everything. They won the game. Second game, they won. Third game, they won. Finals, they lost against the same team which they won in the first game. The point here is he carried them home on 3 innings, except for the finals. Okay? His average is 60 plus throughout the tournament, ranking in 4th ranking overall. Second point, highest strike rate, second top highest strike rate in the entire tournament. Now I'll give you a scenario, sir. First 3 games, we were bowling first. The opening bowlers got 6 wickets, fast bowlers. We had 4 spinners. Being a selfless skipper, he shared the ball to get 4 wickets out of 4 spinners. In the entire tournament, he was able to only bowl 8 overs. Entire tournament of 4 games. The disparity comes into the picture now. Selector says, I picked him as an all-rounder. The coach and the selector of the hub. The zone selector says he's just a bowler. Whereas the entire region, guys, if I have if I'm talking something out of the box, please let them know. The entire region, the people who have seen him right from under 12 days, have seen him as an all-rounder. Sir, we have put our blood and sweat into this. He's a guy who wakes up at 4 o'clock and only person who goes and practices all by himself alone. There are witnesses of that. He led the team as a skipper for the Mid-Atlantic zone. Right? When the question was asked, why was he not selected? No answers, he's a bowler. When I asked the coach, what happened? You picked him as an all-rounder. Where's the disconnect? No, he's been deemed as a bowler. Forget. A bowler, a pure bowler, who can go score 60 runs at an average. And sir, my humble request is, if you deem me as a bowler, all the recordings are there of the games in YouTube. Please take a look at it. Especially the third game, when the team was struggling at 110 in 30 overs. In 10 overs, he brought them to 200 plus. A selfless innings. That one innings is good enough. I played TNC until under 16. That one innings, if I'm a genuine selector, I will pick him up. Not because of my son. Purely because of the instance, purely because of the game situation and the selfless innings he has played. What we have in the team right now, 3 guys miserably failing the 3 games, 2 of them playing for a losing, one of them playing for a losing cause. Losing cause. You please watch the game. It's not my words. I want you to take a look at the games. Please take a look at the games. Where's the disparity? Who's accountable? Where's the escalation process? The ship has sailed now. How do I get him back in? He's having suicidal thoughts. Is someone going to answer him? If something goes wrong with my son? Sorry, sir, if I spoke out of context or spoke out of a different tone, I'm sorry. It's been my blood and sweat. I've seen how cricket plays. Being in India, being an under 16 player in TNCA, I know how cricket works. But not without a legitimate reason. At least give me a legitimate reason. At least have a connect between you guys. What profile, what kind of a player profile he is. You select someone out of the box who has never been engaged with a kid, and he says he's an all-rounder.
Understood, sir.
And the selector says he's a
let me advise, let me recommend something. Since this is a personal issue, it could be a process issue too. But I want to spend some time understanding more, details on that. But at the same time, I'm not undermining any kid or any of their performances. But I don't want to disrespect the selection process as well. So there may be a hidden reason, there may be reasons that we don't know, we don't understand. But at the same time, process, yes, there is an opportunity to improve the process. When these issues are escalated in a manner, right? We did provide an escalation process. Anybody who has a concern around the selections, they should escalate through the hub, because hub manages all the teams, and there is a hub representative in each of the zones. So in a zonal committee, there is a hub rep. So when the hub cannot resolve the issue, they can escalate it to the zone through their representative. When the zone cannot resolve, or they still cannot be addressed, they can escalate it to the steering committee. That is the process we explained. That is the process currently in place. Maybe more education needs to happen in terms of escalating the issues in a timely manner. We'll address that. We will make sure to provide more education to the hubs and the zones. But in terms to coming to your personal issue, I understand the sentiment. It's hard to address every selection issue, but I don't mind spending more time offline, understanding more, and maybe we can see what.
So just one follow. He's a skipper. You out of the entire 14, you've chosen him as a skipper because of certain specific qualities against others, right? People, and please look out for his stats, and please, reason out for yourself. Then provide the justice. On what basis, where those selections were done, others. Please take a look at it. Now that the ship has sailed, right? I know I've reached the right channel, I went through Venu, he sent his emails and everything, but here I had an opportunity. When we are talking about cricket pathways, people who are nearing under 19 and have performed at their peak needs to be considered against under 17s. We have 3 under 17s in the team listed. Okay? 3 under 17s. The same 3 under 17s are also put in under 17 team. What is happening here, sir? Is it like, exclusive, committee members team? EYCL is labeled for that? Exclusive your committee members league. Is that what it is? Because the same 3 people are under 19, played nationals, qualified, came back. Why would he be in under 17 also?
I'll answer that. The reason behind is we want to provide them more practice. So there is a World Cup coming up, and we want to make sure every under 19 current player.
Sir, that's the reason they can be.
We want to put them in a team so they can get more games, because there is another round of selection exam happening right after that.
Sir,
we want to make sure everybody is close.
Sorry to interrupt. Unfortunately,
I understand that, sir, but please take other people's inputs as well, because under 19, some of the kids are gone with this year. It's done for them.
See, I'll address one more thing, right? So, as a parent, and even for a kid, anybody here, but for all the parents, don't think under 19 is the end of the road.
Understood,
right?
sir.
So traditionally it's been like that. There is no pathway beyond under 19. That's why there's a lot of pressure. Not peer pressure, but parent pressure on kids. That is very unfortunate situation in this country. Because kids are carrying parents' dreams, not their dreams. So we need to change that. Right?
Sir, having played under 16.
I'm not asking, even as a parent, even maybe I have done the same thing to my kid, right?
Yeah.
But we need to learn and we need to encourage the kids in a way to have their dream. Right? Make cricket as their dream, not our dream. And that's why we want to address this. We want to create the patch-based programs leading to the beyond under 19. We have started U23 program this year. That's not just a one time. It's for a continuum.
So under 23, one question. There is a younger age, so they are not qualified to get it. If he's an under 19 star player, because of the disparities and all the disconnects which these guys have.
And agree. It's not about the disparity, it's not about any other reason. We created age group programs and want to keep the players playing their age bracket. That may be the reason he was already part of under 19, so he is not qualified for U23 now. So unfortunately, that's just a simple procedure we set up for this year, but that might change next year. It not necessarily only those 4-year age group. Anybody beyond U17 should be playing in U23s, maybe in future. We'll learn and we'll make changes as we go.
Got a quick question.
I know, please, there is another session, the hall is booked at 2 o'clock, somebody else is going to come in. We still have to put things away. Venu will be available for 5-10 minutes, reachable.
These are very generic questions. It's going to apply to everybody. I'm going to make it really quick. First thing is during the selection process, if the players are given a fair chance, that'd be nice. What I mean by that is now, why is one player being sit out for more than one game? Doesn't make sense. Okay, that was one thing.
That's again, I'm telling you, we have literally 5 minutes, people are waiting, we are going to be kicked out, but we can't complete the question. Please have the question, there's been a lot of questions about not to disrespect totally, please.
That's fine. I mean, if he's available for the questions, I'll be more than happy.
Please, we can come here and talk while the rest of the calls are getting cleaned up in the
Thank you everyone.